Hey, coaches, athletes, and sports fans. Coach Michael Fields here. Just continuing our special teams series here. Today, we're going to go with our kick return. All my contact info is right here on this first slide if you need that. If you want to talk football or special teams, offense, defense, just get a hold of me. I'll be glad to set up a one-on-one to chat with you as well. So we're going to our getting into our kick return. So our philosophy, number one, is secure the possession, right? We got to protect the football, whether that's a standard deep kick or if they're, trying to pooch kick or any type of onside kick. We just have to secure the possession and get the football so our offense can take the field and put points on the board. Our goal is to get good field position. If we can get outside the 30-yard line on every deep kick, we're doing pretty good. If it's a shorter kick, we just, again, want to secure that possession and try to get as much of a return as possible. For the return team to be successful, everybody's got to do their job and got to get on their path. And once the ball is secured or caught, we got to get upfield and make a block, right? We should have 10 blockers to where ideally you're putting a one-on-one with our returner against their kicker or their safety if they leave a guy back and the kicker comes down in coverage. So all 11 guys got to work to make a return possible on every kick, okay? We've gone back and forth. Sometimes we just use numbers. Sometimes we use the offensive line names for our front five. And so I was just going to use that in this video for today, make it easy. So we use a front five concept, and we have 6 kind of back behind them. So our tackles are the outside guys, and they're going to be quick, athletic guys. They got to have decent hands because there could be an onside kick on a standard kick at any time, so they have to have good quick hands to block in space, but also good hands in order to be able to take on the onside kick if that happens. They got to block in space. This might be a big tight end. This might be an offensive guard. This might be a D lineman. He's got to be able to at least get the fly guy knocked off his path and try to block him. Take him out on the sideline there. The guards, so the second guy in, they're fast and athletic, a little bit bigger because they're going to take on those bigger guys on kickoff. If you saw my kickoff video previously, that's bigger guys kind of are those middle 2 or 3 spots on the kickoff. So these guys got to be able to take those bigger guys on, probably more of a true lineman of some sort, still able to cover the onsides. The middle guy, our center, what we call him, fast and athletic just like the rest. Got to be smarter because a lot of times they try to pick on that middle guy. I know I used to have an onside kick where we picked on that guy, especially if he was big and slow. So he has to be big to take on those old school wedge busters that we're not allowed to use anymore. Block well in space, cover the onsides. Definitely has to be smart because of that. And then the guards are just the same, and the tackles on the other side, right? So it's just kind of we use the offensive line naming convention just to kind of make it easier so the guys know what they're doing. We've also just used a 1 through 5, right? And we start left to right, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the 1 would be the left tackle, 2 would be the left guard, center would be the 3, 4, and 5 would be guard, tackle on the right. Fullbacks, these are the first 2 guys off that front line. They're going to have to be able to block, but they're also kind of your onside kick coverage guy. If you got the standard, just kind of directional onside kick. The front 5, it's going to get, if it gets past them and they're not recovering it, they're going to block while this guy's the first kind of line of defense to cover that. So probably going to be a linebacker, running back, or an agile tight end type guy. Upbacks are our kind of front return guys, I guess. We call them upbacks. They got to be good, good hands, got to have decent speed, got to be able to block. So we're looking for receivers, running backs, DBs, linebackers, bigger, but still fast there, right? And then if one of our returners goes down, one of these upbacks is probably a guy that could slide back and be a returner. Then our returner, we have 2 of them because, we go kind of the front 5, then 2, 2, and 2 with the fullbacks, upbacks, returners. They got to be fast. They have really great hands, and they got to be smart. These are going to be receiver, DB, running back type guys. And by smart, we had a kick kind of fall. The ball just kind of stopped just inside the sideline there, and he established out of bounds, laid down, took possession of the ball, which results in an out of bounds kick. So we got the ball at the 35. So they got to be really smart on how to handle the ball, moving around, bouncing around, when to call a fair catch, when to get it. You have to cover it in on a kickoff, right? Because it's a live ball. So when to just cover it up, when to pick it up, try to run, all those types of things. So our alignment, that front line, the tackles, guards, centers, Our tackles, we want them on the numbers, about a yard off the 50. In high school in Oregon, we still kick from the 40. So we want them, just past the 50. We don't want them on the 50, maybe a yard off, but at the numbers, we kind of create an arc with our front line. The guards then are going to be just outside the hashes and play a full yard to maybe even 2 off the 50. So they're at the 49, the 48 maybe. Again, this is all dependent. We're going to watch a little bit of film, watch what their kickers do, watch him pregame, see what his approach looks like, that sort of thing. And then that center, we want him not head up to the teed up ball, but just off a yard or so from that. So that way, I've seen too many times the kicker, either intentional or not, kind of line drive right into the face of that guy. So we'd rather him just off center so we can kind of reduce the chances of that. And then we want him probably 3 to 4 yards off. So he's at the 46, 47 yard line, again, to give him time. Now, again, if we know they try to onside and dribble that ball up 10 yards, we might scoot him up, but he's got to be smart enough to see that and go pounce on it as soon as it crosses the 50. And then our fullbacks, they're going to split those guards and tackles, or the numbers and hash. They're going to be anywhere between the 35 and 40, again, depending on the leg of the kicker. If he's a short kick guy, he's not getting it super deep, we're going to move him up to the 40. If he kicks it pretty deep, we're probably dropping him back to the 35. We could even cheat him closer to the 30 if we need to. The upbacks are outside the hash, and they're going to be lined up between the 20 and 25. And again, if he's kicking it super deep, we might back him down to the 15, and then we'd move our returners back to the goal line, right? But generally, most high school kickers are kicking to around the 10, anywhere between the 5 and the 15. So we're going to put our guys, our upbacks, around the 20-yard line, 25-yard line. And then our returners are on the hash, one on each hash there at about the 10. Again, not a lot of high school kickers are that we see, at least in our league and our side of the state here in Oregon, that are kicking, touchbacks every time. And if it happens, and the rule is for our guys, if they're backpedaling, they get to the 5, let it go. Turn around and watch it, make sure it gets in the end zone. If it bounces back, grab it, and cover up and get that possession, right? We got to make sure we're getting the football. All right, so it kind of looks like this. So here's our, our tackle. He's just off, and then you can see that slight arc with the tackle to the guard, to the center, to the tackle again, right? And then they're lined up with the numbers just outside the hash and just off center of the field. If the ball was teed up over here, he'd be just off of it. And again, if the kicker favors a right or left kick, we'd kind of go the opposite of which way he favors. And then our fullbacks are splitting, the numbers and hash or the tackle and guard, and they're going to be anywhere between this 35 and 40. They're still kind of a front 7, really, but their job is, if they try to dribble one, and get it past this guy, his job is to come up and cover anywhere from this center to tackle on this side of the field, and his job is to cover this side of the field. And then our upbacks would, sprint up if that's happening as well. So our upbacks, again, just outside the hash, and they're between the 20 and 25 on a standard alignment, if we don't really know what the kicker does. Returners are on the hash at about the 10-yard line. So then, once the ball is kicked, first rule for the front 5 is make sure the ball goes over your head, right? So I've got this purple star just kind of indicating a directional kick to between the numbers and hash on what would be our right as the return team. So we have what we call a retreat path. We had a coach once, he used to tell them to sprint back about 20 yards. I'm more of about a 15-yard guy on the retreat, because I want them to pick that block up outside the 30, so we got a better chance to return the ball outside the 30. So if we can get the front 5 to pick up 5 of their guys outside the 30, that's less guys our returner has to worry about as he's getting the ball. So typically the front 5 are pretty much just going to go straight back for about 15 yards, right? They're going to get to not quite, they're just inside the 50. They're not going to get to the 30. Some of them I might tell them, if they're a little bit slower, or if I know a kicker's not kicking as deep, I'm going to say turn around at the 35. And as they sprint back, they've got to get their head back to look where the ball is, where the defender is. I actually tell my front 5, as you take the field, pick the number of the guy. If number 62 is lined up across from me, I'm going to be this tackle up here on the top. I'm going to say I got 62, and I'm going to let that fullback and guard know I'm taking 62. And then this guard, if number 11 is right here, I'm going to say I've got number 11. just so when you turn around, you're not like, oh my gosh, where is somebody? Like, I'm finding 11 and I'm taking him out. So I teach my front five to kind of pick out who they're blocking from the start. And if you don't want to use jersey numbers, you could say, you can number them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 from the outside in. Fullbacks, if it's kicked to their side of the field, they're probably going to retreat back. Theirs is only maybe a 10 to 15 yard retreat. And again, they're just trying to get in good position to build that wall to come forward and block for the guy with the ball. Our upbacks are going to retreat a little more directional to where the ball is kicked. And same with the fullbacks. On this side, he's going to have enough time to see the ball is kicked going away from him. So he's going to get a little bit more towards the direction of the ball. Whereas the front five, they really don't have time to see that because they're at an angle looking inside. They're kind of their stance. They should have their front foot. They're going to be at like a 45-degree angle facing the ball and then get back and then get forward, right? The fullbacks are going to have a little bit more time to see. So if I'm the left fullback at the bottom here and I see the ball's kicked to my right, I'm going to get a little bit towards the direction because I'm not necessarily calling out a person. I'm forming, if this was 15 years ago, these guys would be forming a wedge, right? Which we can't use these days. But I'm going to get deeper and I'm going to get directional so that I can give my guys some help by taking out anybody coming up the hash or whatnot. And then, the upbacks are going to be a lot more directional. And then the returner not getting the ball, he's going to run to the other guy towards him until he sees that he has the ball secured, and he's kind of the personal protector is what he becomes. So his attack or blocking path, he's going to get right in front of him, right? Our front five are generally just going to turn towards the middle of the field or turn towards the direction of the ball. So in this case, this guard could have turned the other way, but I just put him, towards the front or towards the middle of the field. Upbacks are going to get up and again, they want to get as close to in front of him as possible to take away the first threat of anybody, in their lane trying to come and take him. So we're going to get that first threat taken care of. And again, this other returner becomes kind of that personal protector. Think of an old school I formation. He's the fullback for the returner, right? He's going to be that lead blocker for him and take out anybody getting close to him. And again, all we're trying to do is, if he's picking the ball up or catching the ball at the 5, we need him to get about 25 yards to get to the 30 or out. So once this returner gets here, he would then get up inside the numbers, and get upfield. So these guys are going to go make their blocks upfield. They're not going to just stop where those arrows are. They continue upfield, or they're going to lock on and drive a guy out, right? If he locks on a guy and drives him out to the numbers, the returner has a lane right here to come to the middle. So this is just basic return rules. This is nothing about, a directional return or trick plays, reverses, throwbacks, anything like that. This is just a standard, basic day one install of our kick return. These are kind of rules that we would kind of be teaching the guys here. All right, so that's just some basic kick return rules that we use. Again, here's my offensive playbook that I wrote with Coach Stone. It's available on Amazon. Back to the Basics offensive playbooks through the Coach Stone football series. And then the player book, quarterback decision making software. You can scan that and get a little link right there to it. And then again, my name is Coach Michael Fields. I've got my school email, I've got my personal coaching email. You can find me on the Instagram and the X platform, and my link tree also on the QR right here in order to get links to all the other things that I've got going on. Other than that, coaches and players, I appreciate you tuning in, and we'll follow up with our special team series in the next video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.